In this video, I'm exposing 7 canned food brands that are hiding sodium bombs, chemical linings, and botulism risks behind their trusted logos. But I'm also revealing the 3 brands that are actually safe, the ones that won't slowly poison your body or sabotage your health. Stick around until the end, because the #1 safest brand might surprise you. Let's start with the brand that's probably in your pantry right now. Number 7, Armour Vienna. Sausages Armour has been selling these stubby meat tubes since the early 1900s, and they've become a gas station icon. But crack open that little can, and you're looking at a concentrated dose of everything wrong with processed meat. One tiny can delivers over 1,000 milligrams of sodium. That's nearly half your daily limit, gone in 3 bites. Here's what Armour isn't advertising. Their Vienna sausages live in the low-acid danger zone, meaning they depend entirely on perfect factory sterilization to keep botulism spores from waking up inside that can. In 2023, parent company Cagra Foods recalled over 2 million pounds of canned meat products, including Armour Vienna sausages, due to packaging defects that could compromise the seal. One failed seal, and you're gambling with a neurotoxin that has no smell, no taste, and no mercy. The reduced sodium version sounds better until you read the fine print. Armour swaps regular salt for potassium chloride, which they now market as potassium salt. For someone with healthy kidneys, maybe fine. But if you're over 50 and taking blood pressure medications like lisinopril, or if you have any kidney issues, that potassium can trigger dangerous heart rhythms. The National Kidney Foundation explicitly warns against these salt substitutes, yet Armour keeps packaging them as the healthier choice. Add in the nitrites that keep the meat pink and fight bacteria, but also form cancer-linked nitrosamines, the phosphate additives that stress kidneys, and a can lining that may or may not be truly BPA-free, and you've got maximum risk in minimum packaging. Armour Vienna sausages should stay at the gas station where they belong. Number 6, Star-Kissed Albacore. Tuna Star-Kissed dominates the canned tuna aisle and has built an empire on the promise of affordable protein. But their albacore white tuna carries a hidden cost that adds up over decades. Mercury. Star-Kissed albacore tuna contains roughly 3 times more mercury than light tuna, because these are bigger, older fish that accumulate heavy metals throughout their lives. Star-Kissed knows this. The FDA knows this. But the marketing still positions white tuna as premium without shouting about the neurological risks. Mercury doesn't leave your body quickly. It camps out in your brain and kidneys for years, causing cognitive decline that creeps up slowly. For older adults already dealing with memory issues, adding regular mercury exposure is playing with fire. Star-Kissed offers light tuna options with lower mercury, but the albacore products remain their flagship items, pushed hardest in marketing and given prime shelf placement. Then there's the 2025 recall that hit the company. Dozens of Star-Kissed tuna products were yanked from Costco, Trader Joe's, and Whole Foods because the easy open lid design could allow bacterial contamination, including botulism. Star-Kissed own testing found compromised seals. This isn't a mom-and-pop operation making rookie mistakes. This is an industry leader with quality control that somehow still failed. Star-Kissed also uses can linings that have historically contained BPA. While they've moved toward BPA-free alternatives, independent testing by Consumer Reports still found other bisphenols like BPS leaching into the tuna. Europe has banned BPA outright in food packaging. The US FDA still shrugs. Star-Kissed follows US standards, which means you're getting chemical exposure that Europe considers unacceptable. The omega-3 benefits they advertise? Real but increasingly overshadowed by mercury accumulation and packaging chemicals. Light tuna and water from smaller brands is the smarter play. Number 5, Campbell's Condensed Soups. Campbell's invented condensed soup in 1897 and has been an American kitchen staple for over a century. That red and white can is pure nostalgia. It's also a sodium disaster wrapped in a chemical coating. A single serving of Campbell's chicken noodle soup contains 890 milligrams of sodium. Most people don't eat one serving. They eat the whole can, condensed or not, which pushes sodium past 1,800 milligrams in one sitting. That's more than the entire daily limit recommended by the American Heart Association for anyone with blood pressure concerns. Campbell's reduced sodium line sounds like the solution until you check the numbers. Federal law only requires 25% less sodium to earn that label. Their reduced sodium chicken noodle still delivers around 650 milligrams per serving, way above what cardiologists consider safe for daily consumption. And in cutting that sodium, Campbell's often adds potassium chloride. For millions of Americans with undiagnosed chronic kidney disease or those on ACE inhibitors, that potassium substitution creates cardiac risk the label never mentions. The cream-based soups add another layer of trouble. Campbell's cream of mushroom and cream of chicken are casserole staples, but they're thickened with modified food starch and loaded with phosphate stabilizers. Those phosphates stress kidneys and leach calcium from bones over time, exactly what older adults don't need. As low-acid foods, Campbell's soups require perfect sterilization to prevent botulism. Any processing failure and you've got a toxin problem. The company's track record is generally solid, but recalls do happen. And every can is lined with epoxy that historically contained BPA. Campbell's has moved toward BPA-9 linings, meaning BPA is not intentionally added, but trace amounts and replacement chemicals remain. Europe banned BPA in 2024. Campbell's still uses US standards, which are far more permissive. The comfort food image is powerful, but every bowl represents a sodium overload and chemical exposure that your cardiovascular system pays for later. Number 4, Hormel chili. Hormel perfected shelf-stable chili in the early 1900s, and it's been a pantry staple for anyone wanting a fast, filling meal. But that thick, meaty convenience comes with risks that stack higher than most canned foods. Chili is a low-acid food, which puts it in the same danger category as Vienna sausages. It requires pressure cooking at temperatures above 240 degrees Fahrenheit to kill botulism spores. In 2007, a Hormel subsidiary, Castleberry's food company, had a catastrophic processing failure. Undercooked chili sauce led to multiple hospitalizations from botulism poisoning and triggered one of the largest canned food recalls in US history. The CDC investigated. People's nervous systems shut down. That wasn't a century ago. That was less than 20 years ago. Hormel's current processes are presumably improved, but the risk never goes away entirely. One equipment malfunction, one rushed batch, and you're eating a toxin that paralyzes muscles, including the ones that let you breathe. The sodium content rivals Campbell's soup. 1 cup of Hormel chili with beans contains roughly 1,000 milligrams of sodium. Most people eat the entire can because who saves half a can of chili? That single meal delivers more sodium than you should consume in an entire day, spiking blood pressure and forcing kidneys into overtime. Hormel's reduced sodium chili predictably swaps salt for potassium chloride, creating the same cardiac risks for anyone with kidney disease or on blood pressure medications. The processed beef means nitrites, preservatives that the World Health Organization classifies as probable carcinogens. Phosphate additives maintain that thick texture while adding bioavailable phosphorus that accumulates in arteries and weakens bones. The can lining remains a question mark. Hormel has moved away from BPA in some products, but not all. And the BPA-free alternatives often use replacement bisphenols that haven't been studied long enough to know their true impact. Hormel chili combines botulism risk, cardiac arrest levels of sodium, kidney-stressing additives, and hormone-disrupting can linings. The convenience isn't worth slowly poisoning yourself. Number 3, Del Monte fruit cups in heavy syrup. Del Monte made canned fruit an American staple during World War II, and their fruit cups became iconic lunchbox items. That wholesomeness is an illusion maintained by drowning mediocre fruit in corn syrup. 1 cup of Del Monte fruit cocktail in heavy syrup contains over 40 grams of added sugar. That's 11 teaspoons dumped directly into your bloodstream. Del Monte's light syrup options aren't much better at 25 to 30 grams. For older adults managing diabetes or heart disease, this sugar bomb actively sabotages medication effectiveness and blood sugar control. Here's the sobering truth. A study published in JAMA Internal Medicine showed that adults getting 17 to 21% of their daily calories from added sugar had a 38% higher risk of death from heart disease. Del Monte's fruit cups push many consumers well past that threshold before they even finish lunch. The fruit itself has been cooked at high temperatures that destroy most of the vitamin C and antioxidants that make fresh fruit valuable. You're eating sugar-soaked, fruit-flavored fiber with minimal nutritional benefit. Rinsing helps slightly, but it can't remove sugar that's already penetrated the fruit tissue. Del Monte's can linings have historically contained BPA, and the acidic environment actually increases BPA leaching into the syrup. While they've introduced BPA-free options, independent testing still finds other bisphenols making their way into the product. Then there are the artificial colors. Those bright red maraschino cherries contain FD&C red number 3, a dye the FDA banned in early 2025 after animal studies linked it to cancer. Companies have until January 2027 to remove it, and Del Monte is still using it today. Recalls have exposed the real risks. California regulators found unsafe levels of lead and cadmium in Del Monte canned pears. Other recalls involve glass shards. These aren't everyday events, but they prove canned fruit isn't as drama-free as it looks. Del Monte fruit cups are wholesome imagery, hiding processed garbage that actively harms your health while delivering none of the benefits you expect from eating fruit. Number 2, Popeye spinach. Popeye made canned spinach an American icon in the 1930s, and Allen's Canning Company rode that wave for decades. But that nostalgic green mush comes with risks that make it one of the worst vegetables you can buy in a can. Cadmium is the nightmare hiding in every can of spinach. Spinach aggressively absorbs this heavy metal from soil, and canning doesn't remove it. Cadmium accumulates in your kidneys and bones over decades, causing damage that manifests years after exposure. Unlike mercury, which eventually leaves your system, cadmium builds up progressively. The FDA has no enforceable limits on cadmium in vegetables, so there's no requirement for brands like Popeye to test or disclose contamination levels. You're eating a heavy metal lottery with every forkful, and the house always wins eventually. The sodium content in Popeye canned spinach hits 700 milligrams per cup, more than a third of your daily limit in a side dish. No salt-added versions still contain around 200 milligrams naturally occurring in spinach and processing. When brands reduce sodium, they substitute potassium chloride, creating risks for anyone with kidney disease or on heart medications. Spinach is naturally high in oxalates that contribute to kidney stones. The vitamin K content interferes with warfarin and other blood thinners, requiring obsessive dietary consistency or constant medication adjustment. For older adults juggling multiple health issues, canned spinach adds complications without adding benefits. As a low-acid food, Popeye spinach requires perfect sterilization to prevent botulism. The BPA-lined cans leach chemicals with each storage month. The better alternative is frozen spinach, which retains more nutrients, contains no added sodium, and avoids can lining chemicals entirely. Popeye canned spinach proves even healthy foods become problematic when processing adds contamination and chemical exposure you never signed up for. Number 1. Chef Boyardee pasta. Conagra's Chef Boyardee launched canned pasta in the 1920s and defined childhood for millions of Americans. Those little ravioli cans and spaghetti rings represent pure nostalgia and pure ultra-processed garbage designed for infinite shelf life rather than human nutrition. 1 cup of Chef Boyardee beef ravioli contains 1,050 milligrams of sodium. Most cans hold more than 1 cup, and nobody eats half a can. You're looking at nearly 500 milligrams in one sitting, more sodium than the American Heart Association recommends for an entire day. The ingredient list reads like a chemistry experiment. Chef Boyardee uses multiple forms of sugar, modified food starch, textured vegetable protein, artificial flavors, and hidden allergens buried in vague terms like natural flavoring. The processed beef contains nitrites, preservatives the WHO classifies as known carcinogens. Chef Boyardee's reduced sodium line swaps salt for potassium chloride, the same dangerous substitution plaguing every other processed food. For millions of Americans with kidney disease, that swap turns a convenience food into a cardiac risk. The acidic tomato sauce accelerates BPA leaching from can linings, maximizing endocrine disruptor exposure with every bite. Conagra has moved toward BPA-NI linings in some products, but not all, and BPA-free alternatives still leach hormone-disrupting bisphenols that haven't been adequately studied. Improper storage makes it worse. Leave Chef Boyardee cans in a hot garage and you're cooking chemicals right into the food. Open a can and store leftovers in the fridge without transferring to glass, and metal ions leach into the pasta, creating that metallic taste and additional chemical exposure. Chef Boyardee proves nostalgia is a terrible reason to eat something. That comforting childhood taste is actually corn syrup, excessive sodium, carcinogenic preservatives, and hormone-disrupting chemicals. Your memory might be fond, but your body is paying the price. Number 3. Goya beans. Goya has been canning beans since 1936, and they've done it right. Their black beans, pinto beans, and chickpeas represent everything canned food should be: nutritious, safe, affordable, and minimally processed. Goya's pressure cooking process reaches 240 to 250 degrees Fahrenheit, ensuring complete sterilization and eliminating botulism risk as long as cans remain intact. The ingredient list is refreshingly short: beans, water, salt, and sometimes calcium chloride for texture. No chemical alphabet soup, no suspicious additives. The sodium content is legitimately manageable. Rinse Goya beans under running water for 10 to 30 seconds, and you'll remove 33 to 50% of the sodium. This works because salt sits in the canning liquid rather than penetrating bean structure. Nutritionally, Goya beans deliver. Half a cup provides 7 to 9 grams of protein, 6 to 9 grams of fiber, plus significant potassium, iron, and folate. That fiber feeds beneficial gut bacteria, lowers cholesterol, stabilizes blood sugar, and promotes healthy digestion. Goya has shifted toward BPA-NI linings, reducing chemical exposure compared to older canned products. They're transparent about their processes and responsive to consumer concerns about can safety. Goya beans represent everything right about canned food, and they've earned permanent space in your pantry. Number 2. Muir Glen Organic Tomatoes. Muir Glen, now owned by General Mills, set the standard for organic canned tomatoes in 1991. Their commitment to quality ingredients and safer packaging makes them the gold standard in the tomato aisle. Tomatoes are naturally high acid with pH below 4.6, making them hostile to botulism bacteria. That acidity provides a built-in safety margin other canned foods simply don't have. Muir Glen's industrial retorting process ensures complete sterilization while preserving flavor and nutrients. Here's where it gets interesting. Processing actually improves tomato nutrition. Cooking increases the bioavailability of lycopene, the powerful antioxidant providing cardiovascular and cancer-fighting benefits. Muir Glen's canned tomatoes deliver more absorbable lycopene than fresh tomatoes, especially when you add olive oil. The sodium content varies by product, but Muir Glen offers genuinely low sodium and no salt added options that deliver flavor without cardiovascular stress. Their organic certification means no synthetic pesticides, which matters when you're eating something that sits in acidic liquid that could extract residues. Most importantly, Muir Glen uses non-BPA can linings across their entire product range. They made this switch years before it became trendy, and they've been transparent about their packaging materials. Independent testing has confirmed their cans are among the cleanest in the industry. Muir Glen Organic Tomatoes prove canned food doesn't have to be dangerous or nutritionally bankrupt. They're safe, versatile, and genuinely beneficial. Number 1. Eden Foods Beans. Eden Foods has been the gold standard for safe canned beans since 1999, when they became the first company in North America to use BPA-free cans. While other brands were still using questionable linings, Eden was already protecting your health. Here's what sets them apart. Most Eden bean products contain just 3 ingredients: beans, water, and kombu seaweed. That's it. No chemical additives, no suspicious preservatives. The kombu isn't filler either. This sea vegetable actually makes beans more digestible, reducing the gas that keeps many people from eating legumes. But the real game changer is the can itself. Eden uses a baked-on enamel lining that doesn't contain any bisphenols, not just BPA. Independent lab testing has repeatedly confirmed their cans are among the cleanest available. No hormone disruptors, no replacement chemicals, just a stable barrier between food and metal. The company is family-owned and obsessive about transparency. They publish detailed information about sourcing, processing, and packaging. Their zero sodium options give you complete control over salt intake, something increasingly rare in canned goods. Eden Foods beans cost more than conventional brands, but you're paying for legitimate safety and quality. These are the cans you can trust completely. The canned food aisle is a minefield. Some of America's most trusted brands are hiding sodium bombs, chemical cocktails, and botulism risks behind nostalgic packaging. But now you know which ones to avoid and which 3 actually deserve your trust. Your pantry is valuable real estate. Every can you buy is a vote for the kind of food you want. If this investigation opened your eyes, smash that like button and subscribe so you never miss what we uncover next. Which brand shocked you most? Drop it in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.